Faces their divisional counterpart, still in control of the NL's #1 wild card. The Nationals and Braves are next.
And that is a game-winning home run. That ball is hit hard, and that's a game winner. This game is tied. Jason Worth. That's a game winner. The Nationals win it. The Braves have won it. What a dramatic way for the Braves to end their losing streak.
And the thrills continue here at Turner Field. Fox Saturday Baseball, Atlanta, Georgia, one of the best teams in all of baseball. The Washington Nationals with their postseason hopes as they drift closer and closer to locking up the National League's Eastern Division. The host team this afternoon, the Atlanta Braves, again, finally picked up a victory last night, trying to hold serve, earn a usual spot for the Atlanta Braves in October. Hi there, folks, and greetings from Turner Field. Yes, the Braves are usually in October, 7 times since the new millennium for the team of the 90s. For the Washington Nationals, a very different story in the nation's capital, trying to play postseason baseball for the first time since 1933. My name is Darren Sutton. Glad to be with Eric Karros as well. And Eric, obviously, the Nationals are a story. They're no longer a surprise. Everyone focuses on pitching, talking about the names like Steven Strasburg, who carried them up until recently. But you're going to tell us that the power, the slugging, the hitting has suddenly arrived at an epic level.
Well, it really has. And as you mentioned, everybody pitching. But it's been the offense, especially since the All-Star break. The Washington Nationals lead the National League in home runs. They lead it in hits, second in runs as well. This is a team that will bang the ball out of the ballpark. You're talking about guys like Harper and Zimmerman and LaRoche. In their last 10 games, 27 home runs. On the flip side, offense has been trouble for the Braves. Hitting with runners in scoring position, they are dead last in all of Major League Baseball. They're a much better hitting ball club than that. If they're going to go anywhere in the postseason, they're going to have to get things going with men on.
All right, so it's the Nationals and the Braves. There's a very famous pinch hitter that may see a spot later on in the contest. He'll introduce himself to all of you right now.
Chipper Jones, number 10, third baseman for the Atlanta Braves.
He made it clear, give me a shot in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. I'll win it for the Atlanta Braves. He's already done it this year. The final season for future Hall of Famer Chipper Jones. It's the Braves and Nationals right after this. The Washington Nationals. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Taco Bell, who reminds all of you to live Moss. Jason Worth, the phenom, still a teenager, Bryce Harper. Zimmerman, the slugger, Adam LaRoche. Ian Desmond slugging for a shortstop. Danny Espinosa, Jesus Flores. Lombardozzi's got to play in the outfield, and Edwin Jackson is the pitcher. The opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. So Jason Worth, who for a time in Philadelphia was in that leadoff role when Shane Victorino was down, enjoys it, was happy to do it as we play baseball, and Worth takes a pitch away, 1-0 the count, and he's got the numbers, since he has come back from the injury, he's got the numbers to back it up.
Yeah, he's done extremely well getting on base. Again, as Davey Johnson mentioned, you don't necessarily want a 6'5" guy leading off, but he's a very patient hitter.
1-1 the count to even it up for Worth. 33 years old, in the middle of a very long-term contract. That patience has his on-base percentage this year, .399. Hansen, a 26-year-old right-hander. A defense behind him playing the pull. There's a breaking ball that misses wide. Two and two the count to freeze Jason Worth. Again, the injury that cost him time was in May. Broken left wrist. Hit just .232 last season.
He had a number of reasons for that, probably more than anything, just the pressure of trying to live up to the huge contract that the Nationals signed him to.
Bounces a breaking ball in there. He'll throw a couple of breaking balls. A slider, that's the slower pitch, the curveball.
But Worth right now in typical leadoff fashion. Count 3-2. Seen a number of pitches. Is yet to offer at one.
Battery made Brian McCann. They'll work away with a fastball. Missed his spot right out over the plate. Worth was ready for it. On the move, thinking about two, big aggressive turn where he loses his footing. He thought so much about two. Hit a little bit of a wet spot as he made the turn around first base. Jason Worth hustles on back, so a leadoff single for Worth.
And Worth hustling around first. You see the dirt a bit wet, a bit muddy. Loses his footing. I'm not sure that he would have had a real opportunity to get there. Prado doing a nice job of getting the ball in.
You see, for Tommy Hansen, 12 victories this year, the ERA of 4.35. Last time out in New York, could not pitch into the seventh inning, went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs. His team won the ball game 3-2.
Well, and that's one of the things in the last 16 starts. 12 of those games have turned out to be Atlanta Brave victories.
He's still just 19 years old, and the nation's getting to know him very intimately. Bryce Harper, the way he goes about his business. You know, Davey Johnson, the skipper, the veteran skipper of this Washington club, was talking about the aggressiveness of his entire offense in the batter's box. One reason he didn't give, I will throw at you. This young man has helped everyone make it okay to be overly aggressive.
Well, he creates a lot of energy, and you know, the way he plays, it's infectious, and you start to see that. And maybe as a fellow player, you say, you know what, I'm gonna try and hustle this way, or I'm gonna play a little harder. There's no question that he's impacted this ball club.
And as a teenager, he's managed to go through his highs and his lows as that pitch just missed. And you talk about where he stands. I mean, it's an epic group. Took a curveball and knocked it out last night for his 19th home run. That puts him in a group with Mel Ott. And just behind, well, a Red Sox name that I'm sure you'll recognize. Big swing as he fouls that one off. Teenager that certainly had some tough breaks as his career grew, Tony Conigliaro. But to me, Eric, that's just an incredible graph.
Yeah, it really is. And I think more than anything, the confidence level that he has. And it borders along the line of arrogance. But you have to have a bit of that to be successful in the big leagues.
Bryce will be 20 on October the 16th. He's got a runner on first that he's got a chance to move around. Late swing at a good fastball. Looked like he was looking for something else. 2-2. And I only say that because you're not going to see 95 from Hansen.
No, he's one of those guys that's going to try to finesse you. He's a big guy out there, but he's not going to overpower you. As you mentioned earlier, a few different breaking balls. But he is susceptible to the home run. He's given up 22 so far this year.
Outfield playing Harper a step or two the other way. You saw it a moment ago. And lefties, some mistakes to lefties of the 15 home runs. There's a pitch that bites him a lot.
Well, as your dad, Hall of Famer Don Sutton, came in and told us earlier, giving up a lot of home runs to lefties on a slider.
Keeping an eye on Worth. He's got 4 stolen bases. He takes off. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Worth will move up on that ball in the dirt. That wasn't the slider. That was the curveball.
Well, ironic, your dad telling us prior that he'd like to see him throw more curveballs in there. Well, Tommy Hanson must have hurt him because he throws a curveball that's completely out of the zone, not even close. There's Hall of Famer Don Sutton. Great career. But the thing at Bryce Harper right there, probably looking for something else, probably looking for that slider because, again, that ball bounced a couple feet in front of the plate and he offered at it.
They're glad to have Ryan Zimmerman healthy. Last couple of years in and out of that starting lineup. Shoulder problems, back problems. There's the slider. It misses away to the slugger Zimmerman. 22 home runs this year, 84 batted in. It was a shoulder that cost him some time this year. He's part of that power brigade that you were talking about coming on the air. Infield plays maybe a step to pull. And a nice job by McCann keeping it right there in front of him.
And that's the second time he's thrown a curveball, Hanson, that hasn't got to home plate. And he got away with one striking out Bryce Harper. Right now having a little trouble trying to locate that.
So as a hitter, at a certain point, do you start to dismiss that pitch like he may lose confidence
Still
in it?
too early. Still too early in the game. He's thrown it a couple times.
A slider there on 2-0. A slider up, by the way, dangerous spot. But there may come a point where you would do that as a hitter, yes?
When you get a little later on in the game, if he's had trouble or just been relying on one pitch, then you can start to eliminate things and look for certain pitches. But again, early on in the game, first time through, he's trying to get a feel for what he'll have and what he won't be able to control today.
Outfield play straight up for Zimmerman, who will use the entire ballpark. Breaking ball and a good one. A curveball called a ball, 3-1.
That's an excellent pitch right there, and that's that curveball that we were just talking about that he had bounced previously. Now that is a heck of a pitch right there. If you're a hitter, you don't want that. If you're a pitcher, absolutely you want that as a strike.
Fastball over the outside, 3-2 the count. Fastball right now, we're seeing it live between 88 to 91. See the slugging that they've been able to count on for Zimmerman. Zimmerman and Morse, who's on that list, 2 hitters that aren't guys that you call turn and jerk guys. I mean, they kind of like to hit them all over the ballpark. Fastball, strike 3, got him looking. So he didn't get the call on the curveball, but extends the quarter with the fastball. Zimmerman doesn't like it.
Now having a little discussion right there with home plate umpire Marty Foster. This pitch up and out over the plate.
Defensively, we line it up. It's brought to you by Chevrolet. Prado, Bourne, and Hayward, one of the best outfields in the entire game. Andrelton Simmons is at shortstop, one of the best young shortstops we've seen in quite some time. That's according to his manager. Brian McCann works behind the plate with Hanson. They talk about that young shortstop who's battled his injuries, and to have him in there provides some energy. An energetic fastball to the slugger, Adam LaRoche. Always been a home run guy, but this year more than you would expect. Usually good for 20 plus. It's more than that.
Yeah, knocking on 30 right around the corner. He's driven in 92 runs. Probably the most consistent offensive player the Nats have had this year.
High fly ball and an off-speed pitch. Hayward heads to the track, to the wall. There's another. Adam LaRoche was drafted. He began his pro career with the Braves. And it looked to be one of those dangerous sliders that he left out over the plate. That is number 30 for Adam LaRoche. 2-0.
Well, 11 games, 28 home runs now for the Washington Nationals. We look at this pitch, it just kind of rolls up there. As you mentioned, your dad said it prior. He said giving up the home runs to lefties on the slider.
Started to command the fastball, getting some calls, beaten with what is his second best pitch, certainly. Ian Desmond, the young man who has also provided, I think, surprising power with 16 home runs this year. And you talk about slugging first baseman. I think you would expect the man who plays in Anaheim to be much higher up on this list. Like Davis finding himself in New York this year. Big home run cut, but he got under it. Simmons back in shallow left field. Prado is behind him. And it's the center fielder, Michael Bourne, who puts it away. But the man who began his career as a Brave torches his old club. Against the wall, let's take a look at these starting lineups for the Atlanta Braves. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you've got to live Moss. Michael Bourne got to lead off, then set the table much more. Martin Prado's been the only consistent one. It's Jason Hayward, Brian McCann, Freddie Freeman. Slugger Dan Uggla has worked his way back into the starting lineup. No Chipper Jones, Juan Francisco, and Andrelton Simmons is the athletic shortstop with Tommy Hansen behind him. A great story with Edwin Jackson. He was born as a military child in Germany, but lived a majority of his childhood here in Georgia, in Columbus, Georgia, down at Fort Benning, Georgia. This is the first time as a major leaguer he has ever pitched in the state of Georgia.
And you have to watch the nerves today, see if he can control that fastball.
Michael Bourne, there is that good fastball for strike one. It seems kind of funny. As Bourne at 278 with 9 home runs, a lot of strikeouts from Michael Bourne, 140 on the year. But this is a guy that's had a very long career, has pitched for a lot of different teams, Edwin Jackson. But it seems kind of funny that he's never pitched in what is his home state from childhood.
Yeah, especially broke in with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Always had a very live arm. And he's one of those guys that's very alluring to pitching coaches. They think if we can get a hold of him, we can teach you some things, and we can get him to reach his quote-unquote potential, because he has a ton of tools.
Pitched for the world champion Cardinals last year. That's one of those tools, a good slider. 2-2 the count. Not exclusively any more fastball slider, but that's mainly what you see, isn't it?
Well, he's a power pitcher. More innings pitched than hits allowed.
Boy, right in on the hands. There's your power fastball on the knuckles of Bourne. I mean, right into his kitchen. Let's take a look defensively at the Atlanta Braves, or I should say the Washington Nationals. It's brought to you by Chevrolet. And athleticism is the key for this defense as well. It's funny, too, because Steve Lombardozzi has to play in the outfield. He's an infielder by trade because of the glut of health now with Ryan Zimmerman back and Espinosa out there. LaRoche at first makes every infielder better. You know how you can do that as a first baseman.
Yeah, excellent glove man, LaRoche. And you talk about his offense this year, but Davey Johnson telling us prior to the game, this guy means as much defensively as he has offensively this year.
Martin Prado, an important guy for the Atlanta Braves and the skipper Freddie Gonzalez, because he can play anywhere. He has played everywhere. But this year, that everywhere is left field, and he's done it very nicely.
Well, and no matter where he plays, he always comes with his bat. Offensively, he's been great this year. Filled that number 2 hole when he and Michael Bourne swinging the bat well. The 1-2 punch was as good as any in all of baseball up until the first half.
And just hits. Just trying to stack up the hits, and you can see there what he has done. There's that good-looking, lively fastball. 2-1 the count from Edwin Jackson. Edwin's best year, and we mentioned he was well-traveled, was back in 2009 with Detroit. Battery mate Jesus Flores is who he trusts today. Little bit low. That year in Detroit, he won 13, had a 3.6 ERA. And his father, a longtime military cook, kept all of the soldiers, men and women serving our country, made sure they were healthy and happy and ready to protect our country. And that one is high. There's a walk for Edwin Jackson. You mentioned the nerves. Edwin briefly saying before the game you like to avoid starting pitchers, but had a moment to chat with him that he expected just about everyone he's ever known in Georgia to be somewhere in the ballpark today because he left most of the tickets.
You know, a real pleasant kid, too. You know, just a good nature about him, good personality, great demeanor. But again, anybody can get caught up playing in front of their hometown or in front of friends and family.
And see, for Jason Hayward, the man in the batter's box, that's kind of old hat. He grew up in McDonough, Georgia, 28 miles from Turner Field. If you head down I-75. Another fastball in on his hands and a good one. Well, that's twice as Hayward with that big stick, just like Bourne, they couldn't get their hands extended at all.
Yeah, and that's a situation, though, as a hitter, it's an 0-0 count. You just don't want to get beat on a fastball the very first pitch. And I could see, like Michael Bourne, if you've got 2 strikes or a strike or the counts can work, but you're the number 3 hitter, you can't get jammed on the first pitch.
Brian McCann moves up the lineup a bit with Chipper Jones serving as a pinch hitter today, the 28-year-old from Duluth, Georgia. So again, used to playing in front of family and friends as a Brave. That's about 28 miles here from Turner Field. As that one misses away. You saw Chipper Jones a moment ago. I will say this about this Brave squad, that winning makes everybody feel better. That is the liveliest, lightest Braves clubhouse I've seen in quite some time, whether it's as a visiting broadcaster or reading about the team. And part of the man and the reason it was stirred up, the guy on the bench right now. Doesn't have to get over. That was the call from his catcher. Edwin Jackson instead allowed Adam LaRoche to step on the bag. He cleaned up a lone walk. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moms. And by DirecTV. Now NFL Sunday Ticket is included at no extra charge when you switch. We'll bring you back here to Turner Field, where the scores the Nationals, the team with 89 victories this year. They lead it by a score of 2-0 thanks to an Adam LaRoche home run. It turned out to be his 30th of the season. Manny Espinosa, no slouch himself, with a bat in his hands, especially for power, has 16 home runs. And that one high and tight. Get a piece of the bat, I think. That's an unfortunate 0-1 if that's the case. Now 1-0 is the count. Sound like you got a piece of the bat. Let's see.
Well, looks like Brian McCann just whiffed at it there. No, it was a strike.
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah.
You can almost hear it. So they change the scoreboard up. McCann checking with the home plate umpire. Marty Foster's behind the plate. One and one the count. Davey Johnson talking before the game about Espinosa. Much improved from this side of the plate.
Yeah, swinging the bat better, and as you mentioned, a little bit of power, but still a number of strikeouts, 169 coming into today's ball game.
Late on the fastball, 1-2 the count. Foster's behind the plate. Marvin Hudson joins him as the first base umpire. Fielding Colbreth is the second base umpire. Tim Timmons does the work at third today, our men in black. Outfield plays the other way. The breaking ball in. And it's fouled off. We'll do it again. 1-2 the count. Eric, there is slugging in the second half, but there are some strikeouts. You're exactly right.
Yeah, no question about this. Ball club will swing and miss an awful lot. And if there's an Achilles heel, that's what it is. And they don't like to, I shouldn't say don't like to, they just don't manufacture runs. Not a team that's going to bunt them, get them over, get them in.
Not even close. Well, it's funny. You and I, with our cup of coffee with the skipper this morning, your old manager in Los Angeles, I don't know that he wants to get him over and get him in. I think he likes this.
Well, and remember, he played for the Baltimore Orioles, Earl Weaver, and 3-run home run.
Good slow breaking ball. The curveball there had Espinosa drifting out front. A renaissance period again for Davey Johnson here in Washington, and he'll make it clear it's not about me. I've got a lot of good players and a real good general manager, Mike Rizzo.
Yeah, I mean, uttering a ton of praise for Mike Rizzo and what he's done with the minor league system, developing the young talent. And he said that's probably what's allowed his ball club to have a ton of success this year. The young players, the Desmonds, the Espinosa, the Harper, obviously the pitching, Strasburg. But he said all of those guys, very athletic, very good ball players. Pitching's been there.
And of course, you talked about his time with Baltimore, but also a member of the Atlanta Braves from 73 to 75. Love those old school uniforms with the royal blue jersey.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly Pete Rose going into Ray Fosse right there, but yeah, Davey, over 40 home runs as a second baseman.
Now, he really was, as you mentioned, shifting the praise around, but he did make it clear this let it travel deep and dumping into right field stuff for my right-handed hitters, I'm not really into that.
Well, and as you mentioned, you know, he is a power guy. Wants you up there swinging the bat. The 43 home runs, 42 of them as a second baseman with the Braves. Part of that trio that all hit 40. Darrell Evans hit over 40 home runs, and then another pretty decent home run hitter, Hank Aaron.
2-2 the count to Jesus Flores, who lays off a slider. One final thought on Davey Johnson and his sluggers like Adam LaRoche is the man standing next to him right over that left shoulder, and that's his hitting coach Rick Eckstein. If the name sounds familiar, that's David Eckstein's older brother. Johnson, that's the other gentleman he gave a ton of praise to for the club's newfound power. Just a protect swing. 3-2 the count. Rick Eckstein will be the first to tell you that neither I was not a power hitter, nor my brother David, but they like how he coaches hitting for power.
Well, and again, as a coach, you're there to help with mechanics, but you're also there to play psychologist, especially down that batting cage, putting the ball on the tee.
Jesus Flores earns the walk. Don't forget, visit MLB.com/fan-guide to register for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 to a 2012 MLB World Series game. It's presented by Scotts, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Steve Lombardozzi played almost exclusively in the minor leagues as a second baseman. He's learning to play in the outfield if he wants big league time. 0-1 the count. And not just a glove man. This is a guy that hit almost 300 his entire minor league career.
Well, again, one of the things Davey Johnson talking about is his bench. His guys are on that bench, have been very productive, can play a number of positions. Again, this goes back to Mike Rizzo and what he's been able to do as a general manager. And just looking at this lineup today offensively, if you've noticed, it's righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty. Davey loves that.
You saw Francisco in at third a moment ago. Breaking ball in on the hands. It's rolled foul. The outfield is shallow for the Atlanta Braves. Prado, Bourne, and Hayward. And simply put, we could talk about the numbers, the metrics, but that Braves outfield that we saw spread out a moment ago covers ground better than any outfield in Major League Baseball. And that man having a real coming out party defensively this year. That's Hayward and right. He's always been a star, and that's a new left fielder playing it very well in Prado. Fastball in on the hands, bobbled for a moment by Freeman. He's got to get one out of it. He didn't get any. He didn't get any. Indecisiveness, then a bobble, and everybody's safe. The 7 and 8 hitters are on.
Well, I think a credit to Lombardozzi for busting his tail down that line. His ball hit to Freeman, and he just kind of, he didn't realize that Lombardozzi was hustling like he was. I get it. The smart play by not trying to hurry and throw the ball into left field. Just get the out at first. You've got the pitcher up next. But the problem was you didn't get the out at first.
And you've got a very athletic pitcher that can bunt if you need him to. Handles the bat very effectively for a pitcher. As Edwin Jackson takes a fastball for a strike. Didn't do it that time. 0-1 the count.
Well, going with Davey Johnson's theory of not just hitting the ball to right or giving away outs or anything. Maybe this is a great time for a slash play. Pull the bat back and swing.
Edwin Jackson drops it down. Hanson stumbles, fires, throws it away. 1 run will score at least. They will stop the runner, Bo Porter. Then he decides to come on down to the plate with the slide. He is safe, Lombardozzi. It looked like Porter had him stopped. Then the two got together. He came on down. Crowd is frustrated. Nationals love it, 4-0.
Well, the crowd should be frustrated because right there, Lombardozzi stole a run because of hustle, and Edwin Jackson created this play because he was running hard from the get-go. It wasn't one of those sacrifice bunt, get the bunt down and take it on easily to first base. He was running the entire time. Tommy Hanson makes a bad throw. Now watch Lombardozzi here. Hey, I'm going to say I'm watching what's going on. They're not getting it in. I'm going to hustle some more. We talked so much before this game about the home runs, the power. But right there, that was sheer hustle. And that's why the Braves have put 2 more runs up on the board.
The sacrifice moves the runner up. The E1 allows the run to come on down. Sacrifice and an error on the pitcher. So 2 errors in the inning. And a poor showing for the home team thus far.
Well, I'm not sure they know if the game started yet. That's the way the Braves look like they're playing at this point.
Worth fouls that one off. The mask of Brian McCann. Jason Worth singled, stole a base. and scored back in the first inning on Adam LaRoche's 2-run home run. Well, you point something out too, and I think it's perfect. It's one thing to have a left fielder / infielder hustle like Lombardozzi, but to have a pitcher think, you know what, I may just beat this thing out.
Well, in both cases, easy outs. Lombardozzi knows he's going to be out at first. Freeman thinks that all he's got to do is just roll on over to first base. Lombardozzi beats it out. Then Edwin Jackson getting that bunt down and sprinting all the way to first base. Created the bad throw.
Late swing, 0-2 the count. We can talk about outfield range, but also these Braves execute. They don't commit errors, and they don't make these types of mistakes. And that's why an inning like this, when there are a pair of errors, is stunning. It's a manager that knows if my guys get their glove on the baseball, they're going to make the play. To the right side, pretty well struck. Hayward well shy of the track. Edwin's going to tag and head to third. There's a little bit more hustle from a pitcher. Let's go to Greg Amsinger at the MLB Network Studios. A DirecTV game break. Greg?
Darren, thank you. After walking in a run and make it 7-6, Joel Hanrahan gets the punch out, his 35th save. The Pirates are only 2.5 games out of that second wild card spot. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Darren, Eric, the Bucks aren't done yet. Back to you in Atlanta.
Oh, boy, and I would imagine an entire city just a big exhale, because you can see the two 19-inning games they have dealt with, one of them here last year at Turner Field, how much they have struggled. Are the two related? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Greg said they're not done yet, but boy, they sure feel like they've been done, don't they? I mean, the way they've played, but Greg made a great point. They're still right there.
Bryce Harper lifts that one up and into the seats. Well, that snapped a 7-game losing streak. I mean, when you start dropping 7, 8, 9 in a row in September when you're in a race, you call yourself done very quickly. And you've usually got such a history of losing.
Yeah,
too.
Usually doesn't turn out too well. But St. Louis, the Dodgers, everybody's kept a number of these clubs in the wild card. Doesn't seem like anybody wants it.
A year ago, it would be a different discussion. With the new rules and the second wild card, the Braves would be preparing right now in all likelihood for the postseason. And they are, but they're preparing to play one game with that second wild card. This has done, especially in the National League, exactly what baseball hoped it would do.
Yeah, it creates a lot more interest. But you mentioned that the Braves would be preparing. I'm not so sure that this ball club would be preparing, because remember last year they were in a very similar situation, and prepare as they might, they ended up not getting in. St. Louis snuck in on the last day.
Had a 9.5 game lead disappear. 9.5, Eric, in that wild card race.
When you look at things where they're at right now, and Atlanta looks safe. The remaining schedule isn't very difficult. You see all those other teams bunched up. It's really still anybody's call.
2-out run would really hurt here. Harper wants to deliver it. The curveball never got there. Bryce in his last 16 games has 23 hits. And for a teenager to start slumping, then figure it out and get hot, says a lot about him.
Well, again, he's very confident. As well he should be. He's had success at every level. Made the game look easy.
This one to left field off the end of the bat. It may just be a Texas leaguer for Harper. Instead, it's a foul ball. Played on a ton of traveling teams as a young man, did Bryce Harper. And I asked him before the game, does your body still feel 19? I mean, it's past the dog days of August. You're now playing into the 100-plus games. And he proved last night that his answer was correct. He said, no, I don't. This is in the 6th inning, number 19 on the season. Only 2 teenagers have hit as many homers in a season. Tony Conigliaro with 24 and Mel Ott with 19. He said, I used to play as a young man, as a teenager, about 100 games, traveling teams, high school ball. Oh, the outside corner, strike 3. And he finished the sentence by saying, when I'd get done with those 100 games, then, well, heck, I'd go play football. I don't get to play football anymore. Sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Edwin Jackson and his Buds are leading by a score of 4-0 here at Turner Field. Both of these managers not making too much of these series, but in the end, Freddie Gonzalez saying, I don't know if it's a statement per se, but we need to just win baseball games.
Yeah, they need to get on a roll and need to get that offense going. Want to finish the season on a strong note, take that into the postseason. It'll be interesting to watch this inning. Remember, Edwin Jackson running hard down to first, spent some time out on the base paths last inning. Seemed to not affect him as he runs one up there at 92.
And the count is 0-1 on 23-year-old Freddie Freeman. He's turned 23 this past Wednesday. Another good fastball. That one hugs the line, and it's a fair ball into the corner of the big fella. Picking him up and putting him down as he thinking three. Here goes Freddie Freeman into third like Seabiscuit with a head first slide. Freddie Freeman with a triple. Just a guess? Yes, it's right. That's his first of the year.
Well, an inside fastball. Freeman turns on it. This gets down the line by the LaRoche. Gets into the corner. Again, Freeman, as you mentioned, not the most fleet of foot. But hustling. He's thinking double right there. And he sees it kind of get stuck in that wall. He's thinking, oh, you got to be kidding me. Looking over at the third base coach. He's waving him. Oh, man. Woo!
6'5", 230 pounds, stomping around those bases. You're right, it got stuck under the wall. Dan Uggla with a breaking ball, a curveball there, fouls it off. 0-1 the count.
All right, what do we have here, Darren? We have Dan Uggla up at the plate with a man in scoring position. It's been trouble for the Braves. Mentioned 0 for 7 last night, 1 for 9 in the Brewer series in which they were swept. You know, for the season, Uggla at a 226 clip with runners in scoring position. You're talking about guys like him, Freddie Freeman, Brian McCann, Jason Hayward. Nobody above 236.
Uggla has always been a bit of a high wire act as an offensive player. But the one thing that has disappeared this year is the home runs per se. I mean, he's been good for 30 plus just about every year as a second baseman. Slugging percentage down below 380 this year. That is uncharted territory for Uggla. This is to right field. It's well struck. Going back is Worth. He looks up. That one's off the wall. There is a hit with the runner in scoring position. That will actually raise the slugging percentage as well. They strike 4-1.
They're trying to go outside. They had gone with breaking balls. This one, Edwin Jackson leaves over the plate, doesn't get it out, and it's up. Uggla drives it to right center. We said at the start of this inning to watch Edwin Jackson. He just got done running the bases. You figure he'd be a bit winded. Hasn't had good location with the fastball.
Now, the one thing he's not going to do, as we documented a moment ago, Freeman goes and sits by the veteran Chipper Jones, hoping that Jones maybe has some oxygen for him. But Edwin's not going to run easy. He just isn't going to go about his business that way. We remind you, as a station, just stay tuned. Jones will hit at some point when the game matters late. Meantime, his replacement, Juan Francisco. This is a guy, correct me if I'm wrong, you probably don't want to make a mistake to.
No, if he gets a hold of it, he has as good a power as anybody in Major League Baseball. Again, very susceptible to the strikeout. He's not going to get cheated in his swings.
Was acquired in April from the Cincinnati Reds for minor leaguer J.J. Hoover. As you were saying, the ballpark just cooled off. About 25 home runs a year when he was in the minor leagues. Has hit 9 this year in 89 games.
But again, you don't want him to change his swing here, though. But there's a man on second with nobody out. You've got to get him over to third. That's a big run out there. You'd like to come back with 2.
1-2 the count. Four runs on a pair of hits, a couple of runs unearned that were given up by the Atlanta Braves, and no errors by the Nationals. For the Braves, a run on 2 hits and 2 errors. Dan Uggla with his 66th run batted in of the year. Two and two the count. The slider bounced in there. Shadows here at Turner Field with the clouds in and out of the story today creep in. A very mild southern day. You can feel fall in the air. Swing and a miss. Chased a slider that bounced in there, so he does not move up the base runner. Let's go to Greg Amsinger at the MLB Network studios. It's a DirecTV game break.
Darren, thanks. Off to the Bronx. Curtis Granderson, 5 of his last 7 hits have been home runs. That's number 39 on the year. He is hitting below 240. Eduardo Nunez, his first home run of 2012. The Yanks and O's currently tied atop the AL East, 3-0 Yankees in the third. Back to you guys. As we want to remind you, if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Darren, Eric, back to you.
Thank you, Greg. Having fun in the Bronx. That division has been unbelievably fun to track this year, and you could see how much the pack has joined the Yankees. That was what was going on July 18th. Largest Yankees blown lead in 1933. 6 games. Somehow I think there's a tie in there.
Well, you call it a blown lead, but you have to give the Baltimore Orioles and Buck Showalter some credit. The way they've played. Tampa Bay as well. It's not as if New York is. There's still 18 games over 500. Run into a bit of a rut, but you have to give credit to the other ball clubs.
Andrelton Simmons. Just over the inside corner. The youngster, what a breath of fresh air he has turned out to be. Over 300, has hurt his hand diving into a bag, hurt his foot sliding into a bag because he was told not to dive into a bag. That's the frustrating part for him.
As you mentioned, though, very athletic, as good a defensive shortstop as you'll see in the major leagues.
just got a piece, somehow swung at a ball. I think it bounced, then he hit it. 1-2 the count. He's from Curacao. He caused it to bounce. Curacao, you think Andrew Jones here locally, Jair Jurgens, Roger Bernardina from Curacao in that other dugout. Played some junior college baseball at West Oklahoma Junior College. You want to make his manager smile, as you just mentioned. Mention his defense. Went around on another slider. Jackson stayed stubborn. Heading to third, looking to grab an extra bag on that play. He is ugly. He does so.
Well, a couple of things right there. With the strikeout, if you watch the catcher Flores, he moves to the outer part, so there's a lane for him to throw to LaRoche. Now you see Ugla go in this situation. It's a nice play, but is it a smart play? Absolutely not, because if he's thrown out at third right there, you've got Tommy Hanson, the pitcher, leading off the next inning. Now, if there's a wild pitch, and you can say, oh boy, that was a great play if he scores right here. But again, the risk reward, not so sure that Freddie Gonzalez was eager to see that.
0-1 the count to Tommy Hanson, and with all the wicked stuff that Jackson throws, and we've seen the sliders and the fastballs all over the place, he has just one wild pitch this season. And you can see Hanson not only in picture as we've shown you, but statistically 1 for 45. Not a dangerous hitter. You don't want him leading off.
It's not happening for him at the plate. It's about the nicest thing you could say about it.
He did have one.
Well, so you figure he's already got his limit.
He's going to make a play at least, and Zimmerman makes it look pretty easy. Not an easy play at all. We'll return to Atlanta after a word from your local Fox station. We'll head down and talk with Chris Medlin in a moment. That last inning offensively. Down on the diamond, David Ross takes over behind the plate, the veteran backup catcher. The emphasis on backup, a fine backup catcher, but Brian McCann has come out of the contest. Marty Foster was talking with Ross a moment ago, and there is some discomfort. We will wait till we get official documentation on what exactly has caused McCann to leave this ball game. As Zimmerman has Hayward fighting the sun, and he sticks with it. So we're joined by a man who has been fun to watch. As a matter of fact, the last time the Atlanta Braves lost a game started by this young man, he pitched well, went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs. But Chris, it was back in May of 2010. Chris Medlin joins us, and for you, I would imagine there's a peace of mind that comes along with the way you've been able to pitch, and a confidence that goes as well. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I haven't really changed anything since before I got hurt, and I don't know. I mean, I got a second opportunity at starting, and I just kind of stepped up the conditioning and really just wanted to not waste any kind of opportunity I was given, since it was kind of taken away from me with that injury.
Chris, is there anything though, the way you're throwing the ball, the movement, your command, that you feel is different as opposed to prior to the injury?
I mean, not really. I mean, when you get a chance to repeat your delivery, and obviously starting, you throw more pitches, and just as long as you have yourself in good physical shape, I mean, for the ability to repeat that delivery and do all that, I mean, I think my stuff's pretty much the same. I mean, I might have been throwing harder back then too, so I don't even know. I mean, I'm looking up sometimes and seeing 87s, which is kind of embarrassing, so I just stopped looking. But I really feel that my curveball's been better. I've been throwing that a lot more. It's it's a good third pitch for me. Before I was more just 2-seamer changeup, and after the All-Star break, I started focusing more on 4-seamers and just mixing those in because it's a different look and helping my direction. And I don't know, everything's just kind of coming together. I mean, I missed a full year and change, and I didn't stop learning. I watched everybody and picked the brains of the older guys who've been here. So.
LaRoche into left field, and that one is put away by Prado. We'll take a look at what you did last night, certainly, but I'm going to dial back as we watch your work last night to the question. It's simple. You had that Tommy John surgery, to be specific, in August of 2010. Can a young man learn a lot about himself by watching baseball while he rehabs?
I mean, the right guy, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of the game, and I was an infielder in college, believe it or not. Don't look at my swings now, but I really was. I just take pride in the game, and I take pride in the way the game's played, and I love picking hitters' brain. Love picking guys' brains, hitters, pitchers, whoever I can get it from. I mean, you're facing the hitters, so obviously you want to know what they're thinking, and the little taste of here's Huddy's back. Huddy's back, guys.
Huddy's back. Wait, I got to interrupt you right here, Chris. When you're out on the mound and something that like that happens, and I know you can't react, and it's, but what's going through your head at that moment right there as a pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, your career kind of flashes in front of you a little bit. I mean, I threw back-to-back changes.
Wait, no. I'm talking about when your outfielder drops a ball like that.
I thought you were talking about when I got hurt.
No.
I mean, it's not I mean, technically it's a physical mistake, but I mean, it's a sunball. That kind of stuff happens, and for me, if I'm on the mound, I mean, I could be bases loaded, nobody out. I mean, you got to just figure out that you're one pitch away from getting out of something. So. I've always had the confidence that I can go for a strikeout when I need it, and if I need to go deep into games, I can kind of hopefully get some early swings. And
so there's never out on the mound, and not just you, just in general, one of those. You gotta be kidding me, dude.
I mean, no, because I mean, I've played the field, and I know what it's like to throw away 3 balls in a row. Guy's throwing wet seeds at me. It's disgusting.
Those will stick.
I know, he's stuck into my neck. But no, I mean, like I said, I mean, I was an infielder my entire life. Grew up learning the game that way, and then I just had a good arm, and they let me pitch, and it's kind of just rolled from there. So I know what it's like to throw away 3 ground balls in a row, and just I don't know. I know what it's like, so I never judge anybody for any kind of mistake, whether it's mental or physical. And just know that I can get out of it with them. I need them to get out of jams anyway. So if they get me into something with a little error or whatever, I mean, they can get me out of it. So you don't give up on guys.
What about when a 37-year-old man is throwing wet sunflower seeds at you?
Yeah.
What about that? Jim Hudson.
Yeah, he's a character, but I mean, he's done this for a while, and he's earned the right to throw seeds at the younger guys. So if I have half the career he's had, I'd be happy with that.
Young man, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to watch you work 20 consecutive starts without a loss.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Keep it up.
Continued success, Chris.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, you gave us a perspective there. Heading to third. That one now did. Oh, so the ball got stuck. Just to go back, runner advances here. And they're saying the ball got stuck in Ross's arm, which doesn't make sense to me. The ball got stuck in his arm. Oh, the hitter's arm is what they're saying. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then there you go. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Time out! Time out! Time out! Time out! It got stuck in his arm.
It's a nice call.
It is a nice call. What Davey's going to argue is that it wasn't intentional and that it didn't deter David Ross from making a play. The umpires are going to convene. Now, see, this is where the question is, okay, now is he trying to hold the ball? And see, you could argue that he brought his hands in right there and just kind of held the ball against his body. Did Espinoza. Yeah. They're going to let him go to third there. Now, see, now if I'm Freddie Gonzalez, I might have an argument here. Because you watch now, watch Espinoza, watch this. Watch him bring his hands and just kind of hold the ball. His hands are right up against, and then he kind of lifts his right elbow a little bit, and boom, the ball drops. I think Freddie's got an argument there. Freddie has an argument.
See it at real speed here.
See, the only thing is I see that little right arm, the right elbow come out a little bit. Now, it's difficult as heck to see that out on the field at real speed. But when we watch this in slow motion, to me, it absolutely looks like Espinoza's got that thing tucked under his right elbow, and then he just kind of opens it up. Watch this. Gets caught. Let me close it a little bit. I'll drop it right here. There you go.
Clearly unintentional from where I'm sitting. The slow-mo did him in. The slow-mo did him in, and the great part about it, it's a non-issue now. Hey, Chris Medlin, good stuff. We enjoyed talking with him. More pitching talk when we come back. Young Ross Detweiler from the Washington dugout. MasterCard. Eric Karros, Darren Sutton here at Turner Field. Glad to have you with us. Trust your weekend's been a good one to this point. Another fastball in on the hands of Bourne, and he can't do anything with it again. We like to call that a pitcher's pitch. Now, I know as a pitcher, you love coming inside, don't you, Ross Detweiler? That's always fun to come in a guy's kitchen and see him not get that extension, isn't it?
Yeah, especially on, for me, especially on lefties. And, you know, just pound him inside, it opens up the outside of the plate.
For you last night, I know team wins are all that matter, but you pitched 6, you gave up the 1 run, 94 very effective pitches. Walk us through your effort last night.
Well, you know, there was always people on base, so I was throwing out of the stretch a lot. I think that took a lot of momentum away from our team. But, I mean, we kept fighting big home run from Bryce, and after he hit that, I knew I had to kind of close the door. I knew the team was behind me and not give up another one.
Ross, are you surprised at how quickly this team has gelled and become successful? I mean, I know you had the power arms coming out of spring training, but already this year, best record in baseball.
Yeah, it's you know, you can't really expect that to happen right away, but that was Gio Gonzalez right there. But you know, with guys like Gio, they're always going to win games, and you know, obviously you have your Strasburg and Edwin and Jordan, but that's you know, we've been throwing the ball really well, and I think the best thing we have is our defense, as you saw right there.
And we're getting to look at the replay. That is officially 97 pieces of gum that just got thrown on you.
None of them in the face, though, so it's all right.
I guess you have to be a 19-game winner to think you can get away with that. Is that correct?
You know what? He's leading the big leagues in wins, so he can do whatever he wants.
Does it make you better to have everyone else pitching well? Does it make you better?
Yeah, you just try to go out there and just try to one-up the guy before you, and it's on this staff it's been really tough.
So, Ross, why do you guys win the World Series?
I mean, our team, we throw it well. We have a great bullpen, one of the best bullpens in the big leagues. I mean, and our hitters are coming around, they're swinging it, and I think one of our best attributes is definitely our defense.
Ross, best of luck to you. Thanks for stopping by. We apologize about the gum rain down that you got.
It was expected. It's all right.
All right, Ross Detweiler, one of the fine members of the starting rotation for the Nationals, kind of the interchangeable pieces that Washington has showed us, especially with Steven Strasburg not pitching for the rest of the year. He'll pitch again next year. Just make decisions, move John Lannon into that spot. He steps up. He pitched very well in the minor leagues. Makes managers look really smart when they have pitching like that. It's a good inning by Edwin Jackson. A real good inning. He needed it. An easy 1-2-3 as he sets him down. There it is again. The gum bath. 4-1 is the score. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge, new rules. Top half of the fourth inning, Eric Karros, Darren Sutton, glad to have you back at Turner Field. 4-1 is the score. The visiting Nationals on top as they hope to pick up win number 90 on the season. Win number 90. First pitch fastball popped up. Late break as he fights the sun, but Bourne athletic enough to turn it into an easy out. Don't forget tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, Drew Brees and the Saints look to get their first win of the year as they take on Cam Newton and the Panthers. Or you'll see Vikings, Colts, Buccaneers, Giants, Cardinals, Patriots, RG3 and the Redskins battling the Rams or the Cowboys taking on the Seahawks. It all begins with a Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. 1-0 the count to Lombardozzi. So the possibility, Eric Karros, of 90 wins. You and I talked about it driving in, that maybe next year, but not this year.
Yeah, I didn't think that this was going to be their year. I thought they were probably a year away from everybody developing, getting the offense, the pitcher stepping up. But Davey Johnson's done a great job this year.
And a lot of pieces, as we've mentioned. He's taken advantage of them. A guy like Lombardozzi. Singles right back through the box. Hey, don't miss the biggest event of the season. Fox Fantasy, I should say, football is presented by Burger King. It's an easy league setup, Fox Fantasy Insider info, and always it's free to play. Sign up today on foxsports.com/fantasy. It's Fox Fantasy Football presented by Burger King. So it's been 1933 the last time the nation's capital had any sort of postseason baseball. That was the Washington Senators. The Senators who became the Minnesota Twins, not the Senators, the second version that became the Texas Rangers. That one goes back to the screen.
Well, Edwin Jackson in that familiar role of sacrifice bunting again. Remember, he did it earlier in the game. His hustle down to first base created a throwing error and allowed the Nationals to score 2 runs.
I'd like to see him drive it into the gap here.
I'd like to see him bunt it again and see if he's going to run like he did last time.
I don't think there's any doubt of that. That was sack bunt number 6 on the year for Edwin Jackson. Doesn't strike out much, 18 strikeouts and 51 at bats. Simple little rule of thumb, if you watch pitchers, if they strike out less than half the time, they're at least not hurting you a ton with a bat in their hands, making them make a play. Breaking ball, tough to bunt, 0-2 the count. Bo Porter sends in the signs. It's been an active couple of years for Bo Porter. The third base coach was a candidate and he interviewed for the Astros managerial position recently heading into next year. So best of luck to a good baseball man. Third base coach for Washington. And an empty at bat there for Edwin Jackson. Not an empty year, though, for Washington baseball, and they have been waiting a long time. That 33 team lost to the New York Giants in the World Series. The Washington Nationals, of course, moved from Montreal. The Senators, the one expansion team, that was not a good baseball team at all. They moved to Texas. Now, the original Washington Senators, the last time there you see at the 1924 World Championship, 4-3 they beat the New York Giants. So a combination of the Expos franchise becoming a Washington team, yet a rich tradition of baseball in the nation's capital.
Well, and remember that Montreal team in 1994, because of the work stoppage, they had the best record in baseball at the time. 74-40.
How good were they? You played against them.
They were good. They had all-stars at every position. That pitching staff was absolutely loaded. the time I was playing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We were in first place in our division. But I truly believe that the Expos had as good a shot at anybody of winning the World Championship that year.
Montreal/Washington has never actually won a regular season division crown. Their one trip to the postseason in 1981 was a strike-shortened season in which they were victorious. When they won the second half, lost to the Dodgers in what was then a long time ago division-type series. If you remember the big Rick Monday home run. You see the National League Eastern Division. That's what Washington is doing now, edging ever so closely to a postseason spot. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at it. Obviously, if you're Washington and you've done what you have done, you're planning on winning the division and celebrating then. The magic number to just earn a spot in the postseason, in other words, to clinch a wild card spot, is down to 4. And I don't think you celebrate that.
Well, especially not now with the way the format is.
You're exactly right.
One game, you might not be done with the celebration. You might already be out.
I'm going to submit this to you. This is interesting. Do you even celebrate the right, like baseball is used to celebrating, to play one game?
Well, I think you get to the postseason, you'd like to have a celebration. I can say our 96 Los Angeles club that went to the wild card, we did not ever pop champagne. Not at any time. And the joke was always, I think we were the only team that went to the postseason that didn't celebrate. But we didn't. And Davey Johnson has made mention that they will not celebrate any wild card berth. They have their eyes set on a division championship.
Run on the move, easy pitch to throw. It's a beautiful throw by Ross, who came in for McCann right on top of the bag. Nothing to celebrate there. Let's see if for the Braves this play creates some offensive momentum. Baseball postseason on Fox and on TBS. The excitement begins October the 5th with the wild card on TBS. Edwin Jackson back to work. Had a shutdown inning last inning. He'd like to have another one of those. He has sat down 6 in a row since Dan Ugla doubled in a run back in the second inning. David Ross came on A couple of innings back defensively for Brian McCann. Nothing official on why Brian McCann left the game. And if you're a Braves fan, you know that for a club that's seeking offense, even though he's had a down year, you can't afford to have him go out for any period of time. LaRoche will give it a look. Couldn't get there. Pulled the arm back and unable to make the play.
Well, you mentioned McCann and how valuable he's been to this Braves ball club over the last few years. And get him out of the lineup for any period of time obviously would be a big blow. But David Ross has done a great job of filling in and giving Brian McCann rest days. Got some power. You saw last inning. He throws the ball extremely well. He knows his role.
That time an electric fastball. That's his first ever at bat against Edwin Jackson. And he was blown away there with a big time fastball. Next week, the battle for baseball's postseason continues to heat up. Wild card leading Braves take on the Phillies, trying to stay in the playoff race. The Dodgers look to gain ground in the wild card race as they battle the Reds. Or the Twins try to play the role of spoiler as they square off with the Tigers, who are chasing a playoff spot. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by MasterCard. Return next week, 3:30 or 12:30 Pacific. Freeman gives that one a ride. Deep right field. Worth looks up. Goodbye. Home run number 20 for Freddie Freeman. He's got a triple. He's got a four-bagger.
Do it, Freddie here. He's looking for a fastball, and he gets one. Absolutely clobbers this pitch. This time has an opportunity to jog around the bases. This is another guy. If he can get going, a big part of this offense. And this offense is a young offense. It centers around young ball players. Hayward, Freeman, these guys are going to have their ups and downs.
And you see the RBI numbers on the season. I mean, they're gaudy. Big numbers as you put him in that club. But the thing you have to be reminded, and Eric, you pointed this out a lot coming on the air, that is Freddie Freeman's second RBI this month.
And one of the reasons why they have struggled. Now, again, you don't need to get hot until October. That's when you want to be at your peak. I'm sure Freddie Gonzalez and Braves fans would like to see these guys get a little something going.
This is another guy. Ugla doubled in that run back in the second inning. A few weeks back, his skipper made a very tough decision because, remember, his skipper, Freddie Gonzalez, was with him. His second year going forward in Florida brought him here essentially in a deal from Florida to Atlanta when Gonzalez took over, and he benched him for a couple of days and said, I'm not sure if he's going to start again this year.
Well, and that's one of those things where, you know, at some point you have to answer to the other guys on the roster. You have a responsibility to them, to the organization. Dan Ugla is a professional. He knows he wasn't doing the job. Weren't anything, just a few days off. He was able to get back in, start contributing again.
That one rolled on a backhand. Boy, is he a slick fielding third baseman. That's Ryan Zimmerman. A tough break there for Ugla. Now, you miss his bat when he's gone, Zimmerman, but you also miss his glove.
He has played well. His first 90-some-odd games are only 8 errors. In the last, I'd say, about 30 games, he's also had 8 errors. Had some throwing problems as of late. Again, a big man over there. Usually very reliable defensively.
So Juan Francisco. Now, just to finish the thought on Ugla and Freddie Gonzalez, there was a game in Philadelphia in which, with Jonathan Papelbon on the mound, he opted to pinch hit for Ugla. Ugla, instead of going by his manager, took the center exit into the dugout. Because to quote the second baseman, we probably would have fought if I would have walked by him. And I'm telling you this story not to stir up controversy, because he said, look, when I was a young player, he was like a father. Now he's like an older brother. And brothers don't always agree.
Well, and again, that's an emotional time. And Dan Uggla, to his credit, makes the smart move and avoids any type of confrontation.
Right now, Uggla, Gonzalez, they're looking to the younger slugger, Freddie Freeman, saying, hey guys, don't disagree, just lean on me. It's a triple, it's a homer, 4-2 is the score. Of course, being Jason Worth was a very busy competitor as a Philadelphia Philly, playing in 44 postseason games. We mentioned earlier that broken left wrist cost him a couple of months this season, but he has reemerged as quite a leader again, and a leadoff hitter. A leadoff hitter, of all things. For these Washington Nationals, 4-2 is the score. The Nationals on top. Top of the fifth is underway.
You see that 42-20 record with him in the starting lineup.
Easy chance in center field by Bourne. That one is put away. Worth is erased. They're glad to have him back. Just ask teammate Adam LaRoche what he provides.
Man, Jason's a huge part of this lineup, and not to mention what he can do in the outfield for us. So having him in there, and he's a guy that can hit leadoff for us. He can hit cleanup. He can hit anywhere in that lineup and be productive. He's been in these situations where it's a stretch, you know, going into October, getting ready for playoff baseball. He's been there a few times, had a lot of success.
Yeah, that's a guy that had to carry the load offensively for quite a while when Worth was gone. That's Adam LaRoche.
Yeah, you know, and speaking about Jason Worth, very versatile guy. He is a guy that can hit anywhere in the lineup, plays an excellent outfield. He allows Davy Johnson many options for this ball club.
That slow curveball had Harper leaking way out front. Worth top step back over the rail. Looking at his teammates, that is, by the way, the one in the batter's box that is 14 years his junior. I mean, think about that. Jason Worth isn't even an old man, but He was, freshman in high school or junior high guy in 8th grade. Bryce Harper was just entering this world.
It is something.
I'm going to go out on a limb to say at that point Worth probably wouldn't want to have anything to do with Bryce Harper. The two couldn't have related back then. Now they do. Winning helps that. Breaking ball on the ground. Uggla turns it into the second out. Harper is 0 for 3 this afternoon. Ryan Zimmerman is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly out to right. A pair of the runs are unearned against Hansen. That was a couple of innings back. He committed one of his own errors that was very costly. There was an error by Freddie Freeman at first as well. Breaking ball, strike one.
Well, he seems to have settled down after that second inning. Only giving up 2 hits, a double and a single. Like you mentioned, that second inning really just, the Braves let it get out of hand.
0-2 the count. The other big blow coming off the bat of Adam LaRoche in the first inning, if you're just joining us. A 2-run home run on a bad breaking ball.
Yeah, on a bad breaking ball. It was an 0-1 pitch, 2 outs. And Adam LaRoche coming into the game only 2 for 16 lifetime against Tommy Hansen.
Into the dirt.
Yeah, and you see he's missed a number of times with that curveball there. And missed about 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate. And we talked about it earlier. So as a hitter, do you eliminate that pitch? Well, you'd like to, but just when you start to eliminate it, boom, drops one on the outside corner, and you go, golly, you're supposed to bounce that.
That 2-strike graphic a moment ago, very telling, but not with that last pitch. A fastball over the outside. Michael Bourne, table setter, he needs to be for the next couple of weeks. Card is sponsored by the all-new redesigned 2013 Chevrolet Malibu. Four to 2 the score here, bottom half of inning number 5. Andrelton Simmons, the pitcher's spot, which has a man in the on-deck circle as a pinch hitter. Looks like Constanza, and then back to the top of the order and Michael Bourne. Good slider, 0-1 the count to Simmons. Struck out back in the second inning. Hansen will put those 5 innings in the book, and that'll be it. And when your team doesn't hit, you can't really extend ball games, and Hansen a victim of that.
Well, victim of that, but he also created his own issue. Remember on that bunt play, Edwin Jackson bunting the ball back to him. Jackson hustling down first. Hansen hurried the throw, threw it into right field.
Boy, he has not been fun. Jackson for Simmons, that is. He is stuck with a steady diet of sliders, and in the end, really hasn't had to throw many for strikes as Simmons goes down. So the day is done for the right-hander. And a pitcher that has been longing to go much further than 200 innings in a season is only able to put 5 in the books today. Lexus in-game box score for these Atlanta Braves, with Hansen now being pinch hit for.
You see Freddie Freeman, he's showing up with his bat today. Triple and the home run. Dan Uggla RBI double to right center.
Jose Constanza pinch hits and takes a fastball for strike 1. AAA hit .314 in 88 games, which included a 22-game hitting streak this year. Fights that one off well behind the fastball. 0-2. And we now see Freddie Gonzalez start to show us his bench, which he knows he's got to develop. He wished he could do it right away.
Well, he's got to see what he has, too. This is the month of September. You want to see what guys can do as you form your postseason roster. Put them in situations that you say you might use them in October.
One and two, the count. Just hanging around. 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter is the left-handed batting Constanza. Outfield very shallow, swung the other way.
Getting a lot of bounce and breaking balls today from both sides. That again well in front of the plate.
He's done a nice job.
Yeah, Flores really has.
That was a changeup at 87 miles an hour. 3-2 the count.
Well, Constanza right here has to just be looking for a fastball. Edwin Jackson can't really be messing around right now. Just throw it over the plate. Let him hit it.
Steady threw him a slider. It was up. It was not pretty, but it was strike 3.
But it fooled Costanza. He didn't even move. He was sitting there looking for a fastball. Edwin Jackson changing it up a little bit. Again, not really that good of a pitch, but I think surprised everybody in the ballpark.
5 strikeouts for the right-hander, who grew up going to Columbus High School in Columbus, Georgia. Fastball, and there's a strike.
When you see the difference there after the All-Star game, hit .224. He's striking out more often. As I said, up until the break, he and Martin Prado, that 1-2 spot, were as good as any combination in all of baseball. A big part of why this Braves offense was much better.
Prado's your classic number 2 hitter, never strikes out. Changeup. 1-2 the count to Bourne.
You know, and we were talking to Freddie Gonzalez prior to the game. I asked him if he thought it was a physical issue or a mental issue with Bourne, and he thought the struggles were physical. That his hips were taking him out of the at-bat. He needed to stay in the ball more, keep his hips underneath his body. You know, and I know, though, as a former hitter, that once the snowball starts to occur, sure, you may do some things physically, but the reason you're doing it is because mentally you're saying, I got to do something. I'm struggling. You start to lose a bit of confidence. You try and get 3 hits in every at-bat. And the only way you get out of any of these things is by having success. You can hit all you want. You can have people tell you, don't worry about it. Oh, way to hit the ball, blah, blah, blah. The only thing that gets you out are hits.
He's hanging around here on some good 2-strike pitches. Maybe this is the at-bat that keeps him rolling where he wants to go. He's 0 for 2 today.
Well, he had a nice hit last night, late in the game. Drove Simmons to third base, who would eventually score the winning run in the 9th inning.
It's a good at-bat. What Jackson has done in the first 2 at-bats is just live in on Bourne. Both ground ball outs, in tight on the hands. Let's see if he goes back in there. Swings over the top of a slider, and down he goes. Edwin Jackson has struck out 4 consecutive Atlanta Braves. 30 home runs on the season for former Brave Adam LaRoche. He's due up after this. Home, life, and banking get to a better state. And by Firestone, reminding you that whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Our throwing left-hander Johnny Venters with his squad down by a score of 4-2. Venters has had a tough bounce of the ball in the month of September. ERA up to nearly 3 3/4. You can never deny that left arm, as ERA this month is over 6. He suffered a blown save a couple of days ago.
It doesn't matter what kind of struggles he's having as a hitter. He just is not fun to face. And if you're left-handed, really not a lot of fun.
LaRoche, fly ball, left field, charging over to make an easy play is Martin Prado. It's funny, David Johnson talking about Adam LaRoche, how much he has improved, and the numbers tell you that he has against lefties, but this is a different kind of assignment.
Yeah, like I said, Venner's not comfortable at all. Ball movement, throws with good velocity, tough to pick up.
Works from the far third base side of the rubber. 1-0 the count to Ian Desmond.
Yeah, nothing smooth about his delivery. Just real herky-jerky. You see where he sets up right there on the third base side.
Well, that was 93 with sink.
On the outer part of the plate. Is a right-handed hitter right there where you see him on the third base side. You're thinking, oh, this is going to come in on my hands, in on my hands. And as you mentioned, he runs something away.
1-2 the count on Ian Desmond. I tell you, an explosive year offensively, particularly slugging the baseball for Desmond. This time unable to get it out of the infield, and that's turned into an out by the smooth fielding Simmons. A couple of very athletic guys involved in that play, the man hitting it and the man making the play, but they've been able to count on him for a lot more power. Slugging percentage up a couple hundred points this year.
Yeah, and he's one of the guys that Davey Johnson was telling us prior to the game. Desmond was a type of hitter that would want to let the ball travel on him, shoot it to right field. Davey said, look, you got to get that bat head out. I want to see some power. I want to see you drive the ball. You get up there and hit. It's called hitting. Hit the ball. It's not called contact. And he's responded. And he's one of the reasons he and Espinoza, Harper, the young pitching staff, it's an influx of youth. And there's a combination of those guys with Worth and Zimmerman. And that's what's allowed this team to be so successful this year.
1-1 the count. Davey saying this morning, and I quote, if they pitch you in, pull it. If they pitch you away, hit it the other way. Don't try to hit everything the other way. Good sink on that one. Topper 1-2 the count. Espinoza, another guy with a big swing, kind of an all or nothing approach offensively. He struck out a couple of more times today. Gives him 171 on the season. Strikeouts. You could add another one. And that left arm of Johnny Venters, even though it's been a tough week, he flushed it because you got an arm like that.
Cleveland. Anibal Sanchez has not given up a hit through 5 innings. Yep, bottom 6, Tigers up 4-0. What's the deal in New York? Derek Jeter up the middle on Big Game James. That's an RBI. The Yankees cruising at the moment against the Tampa Bay Rays. 4-1 to score in the bottom of 6. Back to Atlanta with Darren Sutton and Eric Karros. Guys.
Wow, great, good stuff. Well, Anibal Sanchez has been there before. Just ask the Arizona Diamondbacks from earlier in his career when he was a Marlin. Edwin Jackson's been there before. He tossed a very unorthodox no-hitter early in his career, threw about 150 pitches.
Had a few walks.
Walked 8 in that game.
Yes, he did.
Martin Prado to lead it off.
I was going to say, this is the inning right here if the Braves are going to get to him. They've seen Jackson a couple times. You've got your 2, 3, 4 coming up. Although I will say David Ross is hitting in Brian McCann's spot.
See Derek Jeter, by the way, that highlight we just showed you, 1 for 3 today. Continuing to climb up baseball's all-time hit list, having an incredible year at 324, Derek Jeter. Well, you're right, third time through, right? The order, third time. Jackson has struck out 3 in a row in that 5th inning. Why? I mean, he seems to be throwing some really, really effective sliders.
Well, he's throwing hard, but he's been effectively wild, too. He's been all over the place when he has to. He's not afraid to throw any pitch. He's been pitching with a lead the entire time as well. He's also kept the leadoff hitter off base outside of the triple by Freddie Freeman.
One and 2 the count on Prado. Walked in the first inning, lined out to third in the third. A lot of room in left center field in the outfield, and he doesn't bite. 2 and 2 the count. That was a slider. From Venezuela, Prado will tell you he became a big Braves fan when a legendary Venezuelan for a couple of years donned the tomahawk on his jersey. That's the big cat, Andres Galarraga. One of the reasons he found his way to this organization when they showed him interest. Boy, that is effectively wild, I think. I mean, he just spiked a fastball.
Yeah, and you can throw that a couple feet in front of the plate, and then, as we've seen earlier, he throws 3-2 sliders for strikes. You know, and as a hitter, it's very difficult to go up there with any type of plan. You know, you try to eliminate pitches, but there hasn't been any consistency with Jackson, except for him being inconsistent with being able to get certain pitches over the plate.
Edwin trying to gather himself. That's why Prado finally steps out. It's only the second 3-ball count. So though he's been all over the place, this is a rarity taking it this deep. Fastball knocked down. The athletic Jackson recovers and fires in time. LaRoche is off the bag. Edwin Jackson showing a ton of emotion there. He's hot. LaRoche is hot. Here comes Davy Johnson. Marvin Hudson had him off the bag.
And that's a tough angle from where Marvin Hudson is. You see where he is. You can't tell if LaRoche is on the bag or off. He's got a good part of that bag. You know, that's almost a call that would be better made by home plate umpire Marty Foster. Obviously, that's not his call, but he's got a better view because he's looking up the line. You know, the reality is Marvin Hudson just doesn't have a good view of that.
That'll do it for Davy Johnson. And he went out there like he was a man on a mission.
The thing, too, is the way you watch LaRoche react after this. So you see he is on the base, on the base, on the base. And he's got his foot well on the base. As a first baseman, you know better than the umpire because you have a feel for it. You can feel the runner hit the bag. You can feel if you are on the bag. And never, I shouldn't say never, but I know when I played, I did not react unless I knew I was right. Same thing goes with LaRoche right there. He would not react like that unless he knew he was right.
Which lights a fire under his manager when he looks at his first baseman. That is ruled an error, by the way.
Well, and again,
that error to Edwin Jackson.
And that's a leadoff hitter getting on base. The only time it's happened so far for the Braves, the second inning, with that Freeman triple. Could be the opportunity that the Braves need.
The 3 and 4 hitters for the Atlanta Braves are 0 for 4 today. In the bottom 3 and 4 hitters in slugging percentage and extra base hits and in RBIs, and out of the 3 slot, more strikeouts than any 3-hole squad in the National League. No better time than the present. An angry fastball missed.
Well, and Prado at first base, 17 stolen bases, though not the time to do it. We've got Hayward, a left-handed hitter, up at the plate. You want LaRoche holding him on, open up that hole.
Slider, a dandy. 2-1. Well, he digs out of this hole from 2-0. You'll remember that 2-0 slider. About as good of a pitch as you can throw. That one is belted. He went to the fastball. Hayward was ready. Goodbye. And we're tied at 4 in Atlanta.
Well, the youngsters have done it today. Jason Hayward connecting on a fastball. Absolutely crushes it. Flores takes his glove off immediately. Edwin Jackson screaming in his glove. And again, I'm not so sure that he's recouped from that call at first base.
"27 home runs for Hayward." Following up a season where he battled a shoulder problem, Steve McCaddy, a very solid and respected pitching coach, finishes his visit with Edwin Jackson. So he threw him a 2-0 slider, and it froze him. Fastball kind of in that same area. He was ready for it.
Yeah, he was. He was sitting on the fastball. Didn't think that he would throw another slider. Jackson threw that low. And again, the harder a ball is thrown, if it's low, as a hitter, you have a better chance of catching up to it. And now both times leadoff hitters have got on to start the inning. They've scored.
Ross drops down a bunt. Zimmerman was playing way back, but it's foul. Element of surprise in play there. Struck out against Jackson back in the 4th inning. It's been a different season this year for a young man who's still just 23 years old.
Well, I think he's on that plane that people thought he was going to continue on 2 years ago. Struggled last year. But this year has put himself in a position where he's really swung the bat well. Could be a comeback player of the year.
Bunch of space in right center field for the catcher. That one is up and in. You know, Hayward's approach, when you look at it statistically, as he celebrates for a moment that home run, strikeouts are up, walks are down, more outs in the air, but his slugging percentage is way up. In other words, if you're to read into that, he's just going for it more.
Well, if he's going to hit in the middle of the lineup, he's going to have to provide power. No, he's not the type of guy, or I should say he has the ability to drive the ball out of the ballpark. Ideally, would you like to limit the strikeouts? Sure. But for what role he needs to play on this ball club, he needs to be able to hit home runs.
One and two the count. 4-4 our score in Atlanta. A hanging breaking ball is belted foul. And again, a close call at first that goes the way of the Atlanta Braves. A big part of this inning for that man's emotions, Edwin Jackson, how he responded. Marvin Hudson saying that Adam LaRoche was off the bag. It was ruled an error on Edwin Jackson. Jason Hayward homered the next at bat. Slider, strike 3. Ross goes down. Let's go to Greg Amsinger at the MLB Network studios. It's time for a game break.
Darren, as you know, if you're going to throw a no-hitter, sometimes you need help from your defense. Omar Infante throwing out Lou Marson. Anibal Sanchez, no hits allowed through 6. Back to Atlanta, guys.
Good stuff. Thank you, Greg. There's the line for Anibal Sanchez. The no-hitter he threw 6 years ago against the Arizona Diamondbacks was with Florida. Edwin Jackson. He is done for the afternoon. It is a tie contest. For the first time, the young man who played his high school baseball in Columbus pitches in the state of Georgia. Nationals dugout, frustrated with the call that didn't go Washington's way, and then a pitch that was knocked into the seats. Left-hander Tom Gorzelani takes over. Acquired in a trade by the Washington Nationals last January from the Chicago Cubs. And works in the role of a swingman out of the bullpen for Washington. Freddie Freeman, as the breaking ball misses in the dirt. Freeman, you know, for a big fella, gotten some of the hitting for the cycle stuff out of the way. The triple, which he's only done once this year. And then the homer in the 4th inning. He's had a good day. There are the numbers on top.
Well, I think the interesting thing with Gorzelani here, got 65 innings pitched, 59 hits, and that is almost verbatim for all of the pitchers on this staff. More innings pitched than hits allowed.
Starting rotation successful, bullpen successful for Davey Johnson. Gorzelani doesn't fit this mold, but top to bottom, one of the hardest throwing staffs in all of baseball. That one goes back to the screen, but a lefty that throws 91's no slouch.
No, and you just hit it right on the head, a left-handed thrower. You got a few of those down in the bullpen. It gives Davey Johnson options. It's a power staff. It's a versatile staff, and it's one that allows Davey to manage this team.
In on the hands, Freeman strong and up. There's your single. He is a double away to hitting for the cycle.
This is not a bad pitch. It really ties up Freeman. He's able to rotate around and just get it past the diving Danny Espinosa. A couple of first basemen there talking, and I'm sure LaRoche and Freddie Freeman talking about, yeah, I did. I had my foot on the bag. Yeah, I know, blah, blah, blah.
Ugla. Fly ball center, late break now coming in is Harper, still coming, and he recovers nicely. Took a couple of steps back, froze, but then makes the play for the second out.
And that's a tough thing. As an outfielder, you're reading the swing, and the swing looks like he's driving it. Instead, it was off the end of the bat.
The crowd comes out of their seats as Chipper Jones hops into the on-deck circle. Around baseball, he has had a farewell tour. Heck, in Milwaukee, they gave him brats and a grill this past week. But he is most proud of moments like this. He is proud of being the face of baseball in the southern part of the United States. And he'll tell you as much. And he is not limping to the finish line. He's having a fabulous year. Just health. He needs as much health as he can get.
Well, he really has. He's been a big contributor, still driving the ball, playing solid defense as well.
The fastball is outside. 2,718 career hits for Chipper Jones. Continuing to climb up baseball's all-time list. He's not wavered. He's going when this year is over. 2-0. Climbing up the list and edging closer to a legend. And Lou Gehrig, amongst switch hitters, he stands with the legend shoulder to shoulder. Mantle and Murray and Chipper Jones. You can mention them all in the same breath. And he's done this throughout his career. Whether he's a youngster or a 40-year-old, he can take a walk.
Yeah, he's been a patient hitter. He's been a dangerous hitter as well. And power from both sides of the plate. So he's going to work the at-bat.
Three and one the count. Chipper Jones' first Major League base hit came in 1993. It was against Cincinnati, the Reds. Davey Johnson was the manager of the Cincinnati Reds that day. And Davey Johnson looks on as the count runs to 3-2.
Well, actually, right now, I think Randy Knorr is managing the ball club, right?
He looks on television. He's listening to us. He's watching and listening inside of that manager's office. Chipper to right field, freezing in his tracks to make the play is Jason Worth, and he puts it away. Fabulous moment seeing the crowd react to Chipper Jones. He comes up empty. We'll return to Atlanta after a word from our local Fox station. Go. Johnny Venters is still working on the mound, his second inning of work, the hard-throwing left-hander. 4-4 our score. We move to the top of the 7th inning with Flores digging in, and he takes strike one. Just another different look down there. Peter Moylan, who has battled his way back to be a big part of this bullpen. 0-2 the count. Adam LaRoche hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. A couple of errors were costly for a couple of runs in the second inning committed by the Atlanta Braves. That was a breaking ball that just never got there.
Well, and you talk about the early part of this game. If you were with us, the first 2 innings, the Braves didn't look like they were ready to play at all. Very lackadaisical. The Nationals, a lot of energy running all over the bases, and it looked like they were almost going to just literally run away with this game. To the Braves' credit, Freddie Freeman brought him back, gave him a little bit of life in the bottom of the second, triple, and they just continued to just peck away. It's one thing about this Braves ball club is they are resilient. They don't quit.
Davey Johnson was talking about the youth that he has this year. He loves having the youth and the energy. I mean, Freeman is 23, as that one was a hanger, got away with one. You know, Freeman's 23. Hayward's 23. These guys are youthful. They're bigger, lumbering guys, but they're still very young, the kind of player that Davey Johnson talks about.
Yeah, you talk about Simmons at shortstop, Bourne, very active player as well. You know, I'd argue probably that Washington is more athletic. But the Nationals, that's a combination. The Braves have some young players, but again, it's a team that's just going to keep coming at you. They're not going to wow you in any way. You're not going to look at them and go, oh my goodness, the Braves, wow. But they can play. Collectively, they can flat out play.
Flores sends Hayward back. A couple of steps shy of the warning track. He makes the play. We showed you Chipper Jones a moment ago with third. Time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof stat. And just as the Atlanta Braves can count on Chipper Jones, you can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. You can see with Jones, Pujols, and Helton, the only active players with 100 or more career home runs, with more walks than strikeouts. More walks than strikeouts. And that fastball misses inside. 1-0. Well, not one time as Lombardozzi fouls that one off has Chipper wavered or hinted, or has there been rumors that friends of Chipper say that he may change his mind. He's packing it up when it's over.
Yeah, I think when you pretty much announce and say you're going on your retirement tour, puts you in a bind.
Down the line to the corner, that one goes nearly extra bases.
Well, just hooking foul. And watch this ball, and like it right around the 3 on the 335, that middle 3. Yeah, and the thing, getting back to Chipper, what makes it tough is he's having such a successful year. He's making this game still look easy.
Nasty breaking ball over the top of it. Lombardozzi with the strikeout. Hey, don't forget, by the way, tonight, college football returns to Fox as Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff with a Ford Fox College Saturday pregame show. Then, Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and the #2 team in the land, USC, they head to Palo Alto for their toughest test yet as they take on the 21st-ranked Stanford Cardinal in the Pac-12 opener for both teams. Coverage of Fox College football presented by Geico begins tonight at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. Great combination. Pennant race baseball, college football, NFL Sundays. As the veteran Mark DeRosa takes into the dirt, a man who began his career and really did some big things here with the Atlanta Braves.
Part of that bench that Davey Johnson likes.
Oh, and there's why, isn't it?
Well, Davey made the comment to us prior. He said, look, you know, you don't really have to manage a lot. You get to the end of the game. It's my bench against your bench, my bullpen against your bullpen. Mix and match. And here comes Freddie. He's going to come do some managing right now.
So DeRosa with a base hit, the longtime Brave. Anibal Sanchez, by the way, pitching for the Detroit Tigers, had that no-hitter just broken up. We'll take a look at some of the pictures. Meantime, 4-4 our score here in Atlanta. Ball presented by MasterCard. 4-4 our score. A little bit of a high leverage situation for a guy who battled a torn rotator cuff, torn right labrum, has battled his way all the way back to the big leagues. And Peter Moylan gets the assignment. The Australian-born Peter Moylan, who has certainly had some fine days before the injury with the Atlanta Braves. A career 2.57 ERA. Speed and Roger Bernardina at first. And that's the arm angle if you haven't seen him work before. That's what makes him tough to handle.
And I got to believe right now Bernardina's, he's going to run at some point. You know, one, because there's 2 outs. If he's thrown out, Jason Worth leads off the next inning. But also very difficult as a catcher to catch that sinker and then come up and throw. When Moylan's slinging it like that, not easy for David Ross.
.34 stolen bases with Moylan on the mound in his career, and just 9 thrown out. So the numbers back up what you're saying, Eric. And that's what you can do to help, though.
Well, and again, it just makes all the sense right now because there are 2 outs. Jason Worth leads off the next inning if Bernardina is thrown out.
One and one the count to even things up. Had 3 seasons as a Brave with 80 or more appearances. That's a big number for a relief pitcher.
That's some wear and tear is what that is.
You know, Bernardina got the start last night, but for Davey Johnson, he's a weapon that will be used in the postseason. Right here, doing this quite a bit.
Go back to the Charlie Finley days, the Oakland A's. Herb Washington. I said Herb Washington.
Did Herb even ever get an at bat?
No, but he was out on first base. I believe Mike Marshall of the Dodgers may have even picked him off in the World Series. But again, can be a weapon in the postseason.
He was on the move toward the hole. It goes and into left field for a base hit. He's looking for third. That's easy for the speed of Bernardina. So just a seeing eye ground ball with the runner on the move. Let's go to Greg Amsinger at the MLB Network studios. Time for a game break.
Darren, thank you. Anibal Sanchez's no-hitter, no more. Carlos Santana, straightaway center field. Austin Jackson collides into the wall. He'd stay in the game as he starts to limp. The Indians now down by 4 in the bottom of the 7th, trying to keep pace with the White Sox, who beat the Twins earlier this afternoon. Guys, back to you in Atlanta.
Thank you, Greg. We'll step aside. Another call to the bullpen. The Braves trying to keep it right here. 4-4, a couple of runners on. Drew Brees and the Saints look to get their first win of the year as they take on Cam Newton and the Panthers. Otherwise, the Vikings, Colts, Bucks and Giants, Cardinals and Patriots, the Redskins with RG3 battling the Rams, or the Cowboys and the Seahawks. First pitch fastball on the ground. Freeman out front. A fine play to end the inning. Worth was out in front of him. And that cleans things up. They get Bryce Harper. That's where we stay. 4-4 in Atlanta. Stunning work of technology, the entire new Lexus, and by Michelin, a better way forward. So from the Lexus ES back here to driving into what has been a fun ball game between the Braves and the Nationals. Hard-throwing young man Christian Garcia. As we say, that 95 up and in. Just getting his feet wet in the big leagues. He may be new to the major leagues. He's a rookie on the operating table, unfortunately, with that elbow.
Yeah, this is a guy that's come back from 2 Tommy John surgeries, an elbow cleanup as well. Still, though, has the physical ability to rush it up there, high 90s. Great changeup, good slider, good curveball. You know, and this is somebody that Davey and the organization can watch in September. He may pitch himself onto that postseason roster.
Three and one to count to Andrelton Simmons, and they will talk about it. Simmons, a young man who did not like Edwin Jackson, specifically the Edwin Jackson sliders. And he is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. But the word energy was applied to Simmons when his manager was speaking about him before the game. You were watching him. He started this year in Double-A, played last year in A-ball. Three and two the count. Lyle Overbay spent the first part of this season with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Braves have him coming off the bench here in September. That is ball 4. You know, Steven Strasburg understands what the young man Garcia at least once has gone through with that Tommy John surgery. And the Nationals making the decision as Strasburg appeared to struggle his last time out to go ahead and shut the right-hander down for the season. I think the team themselves will tell you we wouldn't have been here without him, but we also can't overlook what everyone else has done now that he's gone.
Well, he's one of those guys, obviously an impact player, but I don't think that they feel like this is going to greatly diminish their opportunity to get to the postseason, do well in the postseason, possibly win a World Series. You know, they've got a great staff.
Tyler Pasternicki is called upon to bunt.
You know, and we looked at some of the numbers where if you remove Steven Strasburg from this rotation this year, again, just take away his statistics, you know, they still, as a pitching staff, lead in ERA. They're dominant, you know, as far as going out and putting away hitters. It's not something like, well, you take out Strasburg, this whole team's right down the tubes. You know, they have 3 number ones, maybe even 4 number ones. And you're talking about guys like Jordan Zimmerman, Gio Gonzalez, you know, Detweiler, Edwin Jackson has got a World Series under his belt. Now, I'm not saying that Strasburg doesn't add a ton,
sure,
but the Nationals are one of the few teams that can get by taking a guy like him out of the rotation.
Now you see where he ranks in strikeouts, second in the National League. That's a mixed bag of pitching types there with R.A. Dickey right in the middle, the knuckleballer. But a power knuckleballer, if there is such a thing. 1-2 the count. The youngster Pasternicki frustrated with himself. Well, just to finish your thought, without Steven Strasburg, the Nationals first in the National League in ERA, on base percentage, opponent's batting average, hits per 9. Mike Rizzo, look, he stayed firm to that commitment. And his manager will tell you, his manager in the clubhouse, he's been ejected, that they're not here without the decisions Mike Rizzo has made. It certainly has loaded up the airwaves with regard to talk show fodder over the last few weeks. Pasternicki gets this one down with 2 strikes. What a recovery. Throw behind the runner in Simmons, but he gets back. Nice job with a 1-2 count on Pasternicki.
Yeah, he made it look easy right there, but that's a very difficult thing to do. You got a 6'5" right-hander throwing a 95, 96 mile an hour sinker at you, and he's able to get the bunt down. And this isn't bunting in a batting cage or bunting with some BP pitcher just flipping it up there and you're dropping it down, putting it down the line. But bunting is not as easy as everybody likes to say it is.
Steve McCaddy comes out of conversation with Garcia. Left-hander Gonzalez warming in the bullpen. Well, they rave about McCaddy's approach and how he doesn't talk a ton about mechanics, talks a lot about pitching philosophies and how to attack hitters. He doesn't want you thinking this way, that way, lift the leg, balance points. Not really a big type of coach. He is more of a thinking man's pitching coach, if you will.
Well, a thinking man's coach, and also somebody that just says, look, we're going to pitch to our strengths. We're not going to pitch to somebody's weakness or their scouting report or how we should go after it. What do we do best? And we're going to go at you with it.
One and 0 the count to Michael Bourne. But you know, it's interesting, the luxury, and I say it's a luxury, to make decisions like this, to look at the postseason roster in a 4-4 game, to leave this young man in to see what do you have. If this is a different look at the standings, I don't think Garcia's pitching right now.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is something that they're trying to project. And could we use him in a similar type environment in October?
Outfield shallow for Bourne. There's a good fastball on 2-0 late on it. Bourne 0 for 3, a couple of ground ball outs on fastballs in, and then he struck out in the 5th inning. Two and two.
And those are just fastballs, 95, 96. And remember, this is a guy, Garcia, he's a big man out there, 6'5". He's a hitter, you feel like that's right on top of you.
Slider has the count full, 3-2 the count with Prado on deck.
He just blew 2 fastballs by him in spots where if you're Michael Bourne, you're looking for the fastball, and then you're going to mess around with an off-speed pitch. Look, he didn't hit it before. I'm just saying, here comes a fastball. Me against you.
And Simmons at second, doing all he can to distract the man with a full count. Lost him on a soft one. That makes the former big league hitter scratch his head, I take it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I understand it. He just blew 2 fastballs right by him in spots where, as a hitter, you're sitting on a fastball. Then you go away from that. And I think pitchers give hitters way too much credit sometimes. It's difficult to hit. And I don't even care if you're saying, hey, here comes a fastball. Still difficult to hit.
And I'm guessing a lot of things that you say Steve McCaddy would be saying as well. Martin Prado in a tie ball game, bottom of the 7th. Into the dirt. 1-0 the count. Prado, a man in question an inning ago when he reached, hustling up the line. Edwin Jackson bobbled a baseball, fired to Adam LaRoche, who was deemed off the bag by Marvin Hudson. Davey Johnson was ejected from the ball game, disputing the call. The next batter, Jason Hayward, hit a 2-run homer.
It seemed like Edwin Jackson was a bit rattled right there, and rightfully so. You know, and Hayward was able to get a hold of a fastball. We'll take a look at this play a little earlier. You see Adam LaRoche feels like he's got his spikes on there. Didn't see it, but he jumps up a little bit, reacts. And again, as a first baseman, you know better than anybody because, again, you have the feel part. You can feel when the runner hits the bag. You can feel if you're on the bag. And it was a very difficult call for Marvin Hudson. In a tough spot to make it.
2-1 to count as that one misses high. Again, these Atlanta Braves this year hitting .230 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it's been difficult when the runners are out there, but what they are is a very patient team. They lead the National League in walks. They will go up there, they will see their share of pitches, they will make the pitcher work.
To center field, well struck, going back at it is Harper. He's got a beat though. He was playing shallow, but he goes back very nicely on the baseball. Simmons tags up, heads to third, runners on first and third, 2 outs, and now Jason Hayward.
You know, Harper was playing relatively shallow. He had to go back a bit, but that ball wasn't hit all that well. Again, for me, Garcia, it just got a heck of a fastball, live fastball movement. Just got to trust it more. There he is, manager Randy Knorr.
The skipper. With Davy Johnson tossed from the ball game, they'll go to the bullpen. We're tied at 4. Fooled by a slider from Edwin Jackson, was ready for the next fastball in the inner half. Jackson angry with missing the location, angry with the call at first just prior to that. That tied the ball game 1 inning ago. Here is a young man with a chance against the veteran left-hander, Michael Gonzalez. 1-0 the count. Signed a minor league deal with these Nationals back on May the 8th. High water mark for saves in 06 with Pittsburgh, the left-hander with 24. 2-0. Remind us of the stuff of Gonzalez, please.
Well, he's got good stuff. He's hard, come at you with a slider, very tough against lefties. I think for him right now, though, he's just got to worry about Hayward. Don't even worry about Bourne at first.
A breaking ball on 2-0.
I'll be honest, I don't think he cares if he loses Hayward at this part of the at-bat. We got behind 2-0. Can load the bases up, go after David Ross.
3-1 the count.
Now, if he threw a 2-0 off-speed pitch, look at it. He may do it again. If I'm hitting right now, I'm just sitting on a fastball, though. It's got to be a fastball. If it's not a fastball, I'm not swinging.
It was a breaking ball.
Speed, yeah. See, that's the thing. As a hitter, he threw it 2-0. So you think he's probably going to throw it 3-1. And as a hitter, unless he's throwing a fastball, I am not swinging. Now, this is where he's got you all screwed up. Because he's just throwing it 2-0, 3-1. So now you're going, okay, is he going to throw? Could he throw it? He could throw another off speed here. He likes to throw the off speed. And this is where you spread out a little bit. You look for a fastball and adjust.
Runner goes on 3-2. It was a fastball. Boy, what a recovery. Couple of runners stranded. The veteran left-hander wins that battle. Early on with his 30th home run, but the answer back from a couple of former teammates, at least Jason Hayward for sure. The former Braves saw Freeman and Hayward both hit homers. And that's where we stand. Hard hit ball out to short. Andrelton Simmons stays with it. Ryan Zimmerman is erased. Ryan is 0 for 4 today after that 6-3 ground out.
Well, this ball hit hard. Simmons, all he's doing is trying to deaden it and keep it in front of him. He does that, doesn't get all panicky, just picks it up, makes a nice easy throw to first base.
The funny thing about Simmons, and this speaks to not always having great facilities, was in high A ball last year, the young shortstop committed 28 errors. He's not at all viewed as a liability as a shortstop. He's actually an asset.
Well, and you mentioned the reason for that. A lot of times the surfaces you play on in the minor leagues are significantly different than what you're playing at the big league level. I mean, when you're in the big leagues, you're playing on basically carpet. Not so in the minor leagues.
In on the hands, very good numbers you saw from Eric O'Flaherty a moment ago, and a couple of quick outs. 6-3 and an F8 in the scorebook from the 27-year-old left-hander.
And going through the big part of the lineup right now, 3-4 hitters.
An ERA below 2, and that puts him amongst the best. Craig Kimbrell, the Braves hope to trot him out. They'd love to do it in a save situation. He has come back to full strength and health, having an incredible season. Aroldis Chapman is on the sidelines for a bit while they deal with a bit of fatigue for him. And Eric O'Flaherty right there. As a matter of fact, O'Flaherty in his last 48 times out, he's given up just 4 runs.
Well, again, the strength of this Brave ball club, obviously the bullpen. Turn the game over to that part of the pitching staff in the 6th inning and in pretty good shape. This is a guy you can't go to sleep on, though, Darren. His 23 home runs, more than any big league shortstop. Flaherty's done a nice job so far, but he's not through the inning yet.
Corralling it is Uggla in time for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for the left-hander. Supporter of Stand Up to Cancer and sponsored by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, then it's not worth building. .44 is our score. A couple of things to take note of. If there is a base runner that reaches, Chipper Jones is due up 4th in the inning. The man who is due up 2nd in the inning, Freddie Freeman, is a double shy of hitting for the cycle. Mark Kotze, the last Brave to hit for a cycle in August of 2008. Albert Hall did it with the Braves in 1987. And you go deep into Braves history. And previous of that with the Braves franchise, Bill Collins in 1910, and then 3 times right around the turn of the century. So as the Atlanta Braves, it would only be the 3rd time it has occurred. He waits on deck. And you knew you had hope when he got the triple out of the way first. His first of the year. That one is inside. The right-hander Matthews. You want to know if he went around. They're barking for a little bit more help. They get the help, but they don't get the call they want, the Nationals. Matthews on for the 59th time this year. A 2.41 ERA last year, a 2.81, and that evens the count. Three and two the count. Looking to reach, earn himself a walk. Ross came on for Brian McCann. McCann, they talk about a right hamstring strain is what took him out of the ball game. They made that announcement not too long ago, and the Braves hope that it's very mild. Out toward third, base hit left field. This was the tough part. This was the triple. Got stuck up under the wall in right field. This is a no-doubter. Then you hoped you were on to something. You still have to have a fabulous day to hit for the cycle because you have to have a 4-hit day. There is hit number 3 in on his hands. Strength earned him that single.
And he's going to have to hit a double right now. I don't even know if that'll score David Ross. David Ross getting down to first base. Zimmerman playing close to the line. Big hole between short and third.
High fly ball left field. And he is retired, at least for now. The cycle story is put on the back shelf. The Braves hope it's a win story. Freeman's still a big day. Dan Uggla doubled home run in the second inning. Grounded out to third and also flied to center field. Getting prepared should they grab the lead. They may use him in a tie game as well. Craig Kimbrell warms. Tough pitch.
Yeah, Uggla looking for something up in the zone, something that he can drive to an alley, hit out of the ballpark, Again, you've got Ross at first base, not fleet of foot at all.
Good slider, has to count it 1-2.
That's the thing. If you're Matthews, you've got to come right back with something like that. You just stay away, throw the slow off speed stuff out of the zone, off the outside part of the plate. Let him fish for it.
That's exactly what he did. 2-2 the count. For those of you tuning in for Fox College Saturday with Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington, we'll take you there immediately at the conclusion of our contest as we greet you from Turner Field. Washington 4, Atlanta 4. College football right around the corner. Go ahead run for the Braves at first. That pitch is low. 3-2. Chipper waits on deck.
I know Uggla strikes out a lot, but at this stage right now, I'm going to do it. I'd run him. I'd send him in motion. It's bad baseball. That's why I'm sitting up here. But I got that hunch feeling. I got that feeling right now.
I was about to ask you about that. They didn't do it, and that pitch is inside. Let's join in with this crowd. They got excited when he was announced a couple of innings ago. Jeff Baker, by the way, is pinch running and representing the go-ahead run out there at second base. Jeff Baker.
Well, Chipper said before the game, just use him if you need us to win. He's like that, the fire extinguisher in the glass. Break only in case of emergency. Here's the emergency right here.
Rallied the Braves from a huge deficit against the Philadelphia Phillies with a walk-off home run. It was a journey back in time. It's a 5-run ninth inning on September the 2nd. He'd love to do it again here and give the ball to Kimbrel. One and 0. In his career, with runners in scoring position, as you look at the defense and how they play him, Chipper Jones an even .300 hitter. Good fastball, 1-1.
I think hitting with runners in scoring position, you've got to be disciplined enough to know that all you need is a base hit. You don't have to go up there and swing from the fence. Know the situation. Know what the pitcher's trying to do to you.
Two and 1 the count. And even at 40, he seems to sense that situation. In the game's history among switch hitters, only Eddie Murray with more career runs batted in. 3-1. Andrelton Simmons waits on deck. Ball 4, they lost him, and Matthews really angry with himself. Let's get it on over to Greg Amziger to MLB Network Studios. It's time for a game break.
Darren, thanks. Let's go to the Bronx. 5-3 the score, 2 on. Rafael Soriano picks up his 39th save. The Yanks beat the Rays. They're a half game up in the AL East over the Baltimore Orioles, who play the A's later tonight. Back to you guys in Atlanta.
So they are done in New York. Here, the bases are full with 1 out. Chipper Jones knew exactly the situation, didn't he?
Well, and smart if you're the Nationals. Simmons has yet to put a ball in play today. 2 strikeouts and a walk. This is a youngster at the plate. You have to hope, if you're the Nationals, that he's excitable, that he's going to expand the zone, that he lets the situation get the best of him. If you're Simmons right now, you have to take a deep breath and think, I'm not the one in trouble. He's in trouble. Try to slow things down.
The 1-0 with the bases full is a strike, 1-1. Two and one to count. He watches that one sail inside. The 23-year-old native of Curacao. Don't forget, we're going to get you right to the college football Fox Saturday with Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington. Take you there at the conclusion of this contest. Big swing coming back up this way. 2-2 the count on a foul ball.
And see, that's the difference between maybe a Chipper Jones and a youngster like Simmons. That's a good pitch to shoot to right center. That's a good pitch to just hit, but he's trying to hit the ball 20,000 miles right there. You don't have to do that.
For the Braves, Craig Kimbrell is hot in the bullpen. Did that hit him? That hit him. And there's a run. That got the jersey. And the Braves lead it 5-4.
Simmons showing right away, hey, it got my jersey. You're going to get hit. That's how you want to get hit.
It didn't hurt Simmons at all. It really hurt Matthews. 5-4, the Braves have the lead.
Time to got him in the shirt. First base.
Artie Foster calling it, and not only calling it, explaining it. Boy, he got that one right, and this is what ensued after. Frustrated, beside himself, Matthews, and I think I'm actually understating it.
Well, the smart thing was is at least he's pounding the bench with his left hand and not his pitching hand. But again, as a pitcher, if you're going to hit somebody, you want to get your money's worth. That's not really doing it, getting a little graze of the shirt.
Veteran left-hander Zach Duke spent nearly the entire season pitching in AAA in the Nationals organization. Won 15 games as a minor leaguer. This is a guy that has 2 double-digit winning seasons in the major leagues. 0-1 the count.
Reed Johnson up at the plate. He had the start last night out in center field. Michael Bourne getting a night off. Acquired from the Cubs earlier in the year.
Johnson spoils a pitch down and away. Reed loves left-handers, has throughout his career, and this year's no different. Hitting well above 300 against southpaws. And a guy that can be counted on that bench that his manager will admit is not nearly as deep as I'd like.
Duke trying to go inside right there. You know, as a hitter right now, you're thinking, okay, well, now he's going to go back outside. A great pitch here would be to double up and go right back inside. I think Johnson probably looking for that pitch away, but get right back in there. I think Flores wanted to go in. Not sure Duke wants to go in.
So the lefty on the mound and the good numbers for Johnson against southpaws. Batting average 50 points higher. Let's follow what Eric's talking about here. And they can't get together. And it's your subject matter, I think, that they're having a disagreement about.
I think he wants to go back inside. Like I said, as a hitter, right now everybody's saying, okay, well, he's ahead 2 strikes and he throws that show me fastball in because he wants to go away. As a hitter, you're thinking, I'm going to protect, but if you come right back in on an inside fastball, you can freeze the hitter.
That time again, this is called by Johnson. Notice now, no sign by Flores as of yet. In other words, they discussed it on the mound, and that's that. Now they go away, and it's popped up and into the seats it will go.
And I say that's the thing. If you go away there as a hitter with the bases loaded, with 1 out, with 2 strikes, all you're trying to do is protect. So you're going to spread out. You're going to look away. All you're trying to do is make contact. You come in with a good hard fastball, it'll tie you up.
Good pictures the entire time. Flores taking a look at Johnson. Good pitching on the hands. That's the one you're speaking about.
I just don't think that you may foul it off, but you're not going to get to it. Again, Johnson right now is just protecting because he figures he could just loft something to the outfield. That's a sac fly. Tough guy to double up.
Breaking ball into the dirt, and a nice job by Flores keeping it right there with him. So away, in with the fastball, then he bounced to Bender. Here is today's Burger King smooth play of the game. Just a young man who didn't get far enough out of the way.
Well, that's a good reason to have an extra large shirt. Fans a little bit, gets out there and get you down to first base sometimes.
And that gave the Braves a 5-4 lead. A pretty good pitch there, called inside to Michael Bourne with the bases loaded. Sinking fastball. Kimbrel is ready. Christian Martinez was standing next to him just in case this game gets out of hand. They definitely watch the work of Kimbrel, more so this year than ever. 2-1 the count.
I mean, you look at this inning. There's only been one base hit. A couple of walks, a hit by pitch. The Nationals are digging themselves their own hole.
A little roller up the line. Sticking to it as LaRoche tap dance to the bag and in time for the out. That man ready to lock one down. He's been as good as anyone in baseball. A hit batter gives the Braves the lead. Contest ends. It's time for Fox College Football Saturday. Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington will get you to kick off USC against Stanford, both with their Pac-12 openers. Coming up right around the corner. One of the best in the game, Craig Kimbrel. The numbers silly. Breaking ball misses high, and when I say that, I mean the 54 in the third innings, the 101 strikeouts, and a 1.16 ERA. The electric fastball right by Danny Espinosa.
Yeah, Kimbrel came in last night. 10 pitches, 3 strikeouts, earned the save. You talk about just dominating.
Pitch is high. It was Kimbrel on the mound in the final game of the season last year that couldn't lock it down. Part of the story of the Braves' fade, having that 9.5 game wild card lead disappear. 3-1. Talking to Craig before the game, he can't wait to pitch meaningful games late in this month again. He's been dying for another chance. He was the winner last night in the work that he did that Eric was talking about. Nearly 17 strikeouts per 9 innings of work.
Well, Espinosa's gone down 3 times already today. Good chances could be 4 right here.
That'll do it. Let's get it on to Greg Amziger, the MLB Network studios. Time for a game break.
Darren, thanks. In Cleveland, Brantley versus Valverde. There's Austin Jackson. Save number 31 for Papa Grande. Tigers win 5-3. Still a game back of the White Sox in the AL Central. Darren Sutton, Eric Karros, back to you.
Thank you, Greg. And so they're excited in Motown, keeping hope alive. Well, part of this bench, and part of a bench that has been so successful, is Chad Tracy. A lot of his good work early in his career with the Arizona Diamondbacks, a 300 hitter on a couple of occasions, then went to Japan, has come back, and has really earned his keep. And so you earn your keep, and when you do earn your keep, these are the assignments you get.
Yeah, this is the thanks you get. You get to sit around all ball game, and then, you know what, go get an at-bat against Kimbrel.
Tracy said, I hit more during games, certainly, and all around than I ever did hit. I spent just about the entire game hitting. Find a batting cage, find a willing coach or a machine, and crank it up. He said, look, I'm not hitting off tees either. I'm looking to simulate. I know it's not possible, but what I'm about to deal with. You can't really simulate that.
Again, if you're looking at a strength of this Atlanta ball club, you'd have to say the bullpen. And that's why it's so important. Their starters don't have to be great. They just have to be good. Offense has to get them a lead. You hand it to the bullpen.
Left a slider up, and Chad Tracy makes him pay. He blew a fastball by him. That slider, he will tell you, Kimbrel, was an ugly pitch, and Tracy cashed in. So Tracy is on. He represents a tying run. By the way, if you missed it earlier in this game, Jason Hayward was the better one today. It's brought to you by Mazda. Better, stronger, smarter. It was his home run that had Edwin Jackson angry after a close call that went the Braves' way at first. Next batter, Hayward homered. His moment brought to you by Mazda.
That's a great at-bat by Chad Tracy right there. Again, get back to that thing of the pitchers giving the hitters too much credit. Just threw a fastball by a guy. Going to try to trick him and get beat.
Good speed. Yuri Perez is the pinch runner. With 1 out, strike 1 to Lombardozzi. I mean, obviously, maybe it's a different story if it's a good slider.
Well, if it's a good slider, but the thing is, you have more of a chance of making a mistake when you're throwing that slider, that curveball. You hang them, you spin them, you don't have a good grip. You know, a fastball is the pitch that you should make the least amount of mistakes on. When you throw 95, 97, 98, and you have the threat of those off-speed pitches.
Runner on the move, throw down, gets by, gets into center field. Perez heads to third. They'll stop him there. Bo Porter with the stop sign. There's your tying run. Now for Lombardozzi, the at-bat obviously totally and completely changes.
Well, it changes. All you're trying to do is make contact, but the problem with it is you're 1-2. You see, he gets a good jump. Perez is even looking in. Throw to the right field side. I think if you're Perez, you got it. You're going on contact. You're going on contact.
Infield drawn in for the Braves. Cut of the grass. That'll do it. A fastball nowhere near the strike zone in the end. There's Kimbrel's answer.
Well, that's the thing. He goes to the fastball. You're not going to hit that thing. That thing is just 97, 98, but it's not just the fastball. It's the fact that he's got the threat of throwing those other pitches.
Crowd comes out of their seats. Tyler Moore, big time power in the minor leagues, has flashed it in the major leagues as well. He receives the assignment now as pinch hitter. Alabama boy on the mound, Mississippi kid in the batter's box. And 0-1 the count.
Doesn't matter where you're from, 97 is tough to hit.
Runner at third, high. Very few throw a fastball with the late life that Kimbrel has. One and two. Division Series preview, the Atlanta Braves win the first two games of this series. Hayward with a homer, a hit batter made the difference. That'll wrap it up from Atlanta. Eric Karros, Darren Sutton reminding you we're going to take you now to Aaron Andrews at the